Hey everybody, so you know how sometimes you read a debut novel and you know from that moment forward you're going to read everything that that author publishes? Today I'm here talking about 3 sophomore novels that I have been so excited to read ever since I read these authors' debuts, and I cannot wait to tell you all about them. So let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you all doing today? As always, I hope you're happy, I hope you're healthy, I hope you're safe, and of course, I hope you're reading an amazing book or 2 or 3 or 4. The weather continues to be very, very wet here in Northern California. There has been much flooding and damage done by the water, especially in the Bay Area where I live. So if you are in those areas that are affected, I hope you're safe. And of course, I hope that everything is drying up a little bit, though I know we have more weather coming our way. Weather has been crazy across the United States, so hopefully you are all safe and you're all reading and hunkering down and just getting through all of this crazy, crazy weather. Sometimes, and I said this in the beginning, sometimes you just read a debut author's novel and you know that this is going to be one of those people that you are going to follow for the whole entire career. And today I'm here to talk to you about 3 sophomore novels that I have been waiting with bated breath for publication ever since I read their debuts. So, without further ado, get out your pen, get out your paper, get out your Goodreads, however you keep track of your TBR. If you are so able, please order these books or pre-order these books from your local independent bookstore. You know, it helps the bookstore, it helps the author, and it helps everyone else out. Or if you're a library user, get your library to get you a copy as soon as possible. I'm going to do them in the order that they are coming out. There are 2 coming out this month in January and 1 that's not coming out until April. The first book I want to tell you about is The Deluge by Stephen Markley. Now, you may recall that I read Stephen's debut novel, Ohio, a few years ago. It made my top 10. I absolutely was obsessed with it. And what's so exciting about his sophomore book is that it's very, very different. He's sort of taking us to a different type of writing for him. Now, Stephen King called this the best book he read in 2022, and I think he called it like a modern classic and all of this. So however you follow Stephen King, he will definitely tell you about what he thought about The Deluge. And again, this comes out on January 10th from Simon & Schuster. I'm going to have the back help me a little bit because it is a little bit more complicated in story. It says, in the first decades of the 21st century, the world is convulsing. Its government's mired in gridlock while a patient but unrelenting ecological crisis looms. In California in 2013, Tony Petrus, I'm sorry if I say his name wrong, a scientist studying deposits of undersea methane, receives a death threat. His fate will become bound to a stunning cast of characters. A broken drug addict, a star advertising strategist, a neurodivergent mathematician, a cunning eco-terrorist, an actor turned religious zealot, and a brazen young activist named Kate Morris, who, in the mountains of Wyoming, begins a project that will alter the course of the decades to come. Their intertwined odyssey unfolds against a stark backdrop of accelerating chaos as they summon courage, galvanize a nation, and fall to their own fear and find wild hope in the face of staggering odds. Okay, so that seems like a lot. And I'm really excited to see what Stephen Markley does with that. What's really cool is like the book, if you flip through it, it has like articles, it sort of mixes its the form that it takes to tell the story. So it's sort of a little bit avant-garde and sort of its, what's the word I'm looking for? In its format? I'm not sure that that's the right word, but I'm really excited to see what he's going to do in this. I may actually have to read this book digitally. It's almost 900 pages. I started it, but it is a hefty, hefty book. So that's The Deluge by Stephen Markley. This is out on January 10th from Simon & Schuster. And if you haven't read Ohio, I'm actually going to say that about all of these debuts, but if you haven't read Ohio, please read Ohio. The next book that I want to tell you about is actually one that I'm over halfway through, I want to say, and that is Decent People by Deshaun Charles Winslow, out from Bloomsbury. Now, his debut was in West Mills, And I absolutely, absolutely loved it. And it turns out that he is going to sort of create in West Mills for these two books a community that we're going to stay in for both of those stories. And in this one, the book starts with Jo, who has returned home to West Mills, where she's going to retire. She lived in New York, and she was in New York. I believe she was seeing her brother who was ill, and she's returned home to find out that her fiance's half-brother and two sisters have been murdered. And the town seems to think that her fiance is the one who committed the murders. And she goes on to want to investigate because she wants to clear his name. And what happens, and what Deshaun Charles Winslow is so good at, is that sort of town gossip, intrigue between people in the community sort of thing. You do not have to have read in West Mills in order to enjoy this book. However, I will say you meet some of the same characters, you get to know the town in the first book, so it does help. So I do recommend reading absolutely both of them, but this one is all about who did it, why are the police trying to sort of just sweep it under the rug, and one woman's desire to figure out what really happened and clear the name of the man she loves. It's really, really good. It's page turning. The characters are fantastic. It's just got all those sort of things that you need for a fantastic read. So I can't wait to finish it. I have like less than 100 pages. So that's Decent People by Deshaun Charles Winslow, out from Bloomsbury. And I believe that this book comes out on the 22nd. It's toward the end of the month. I apologize. I don't have the exact date. But thank you very much for Bloomsbury for sending me this beautiful finished copy. It will go on my shelf with the first book in the series. Now, the next book coming out is actually not out until April. I don't think I have an exact date. It just says April 2023. And that is Chain Gang AllStars by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenyah. And this is out from Pantheon, again, in April. Now, his debut was actually a short story collection called Black Friday, and I have said this before when I talk about that collection. I think Black Friday, the short story itself, the title story, is probably in my top 5 favorite short stories that I've ever read. I highly recommend the whole collection, but that one is one that's still, every time I think about short stories, that short story sticks in my head. I am doing a lot to not dive too much into what this book is about, because I really want to be surprised, and I want to allow the story to overwhelm me because I'm super excited about it. But it says on the back, it says, "Welcome to Chain Gang AllStars, the highly popular, highly controversial profit-raising program in America's private prison system. Harkening back to the time of gladiators, prisoners compete to the ultimate prize, their freedom." I think that's all you need to know, right? It's going to be a satire, obviously, or maybe even a look at the prison system and all its the private prison system and all its absurdity. And I can't wait to see. I mean, if he takes the biting wit of Black Friday and puts it in this, it's going to be brilliant. So that's Chain Gang AllStars by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenyah, out from I keep saying Bloomsbury. No, I didn't. Bloomsbury is wrong. That's the last book. This is Pantheon. Y'all. Pantheon in April of 2023. Get this one on your list. I have a feeling we'll be talking about this book all year long. So that is 3 debut novels. Hopefully I did an okay job. Sorry, they're not debut novels. They are sophomore novels by authors that I loved their debuts. And I hope every single one of these winds up on your TBR. As always, if you are a return subscriber, I could not do this without you. Thank you so very, very much for coming along. If you are new to my channel, I hope you hit that subscribe button and you hit that little bell. That helps me out in the long run. As always, I encourage you to read read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye, everyone.